Well, Happy New Year, friends. Here we are, January 22nd, 2024. Yes, you can clearly see that I'm recording this on the 21st, but Happy New Year. Now, we're going to walk through the new year for human design and just play in this energy for a bit. So, what do we know every single year when the sun comes into the 41st gate? This is the start codon, and this begins every new year for us. What do we know about the start codon? Well, we know that it begins every new sequence. This is the genetic coding that takes place in the genes. Because we know human design comes down to the DNA, we know that the start codon begins everything, and it is called contraction. So every year, you will see that the 41 and the 31, because they are opposites in the mandala, they always begin every single new year. So with this 41st gate, it's contraction, but it is also called reasonableness. So the appropriate delegation of responsibility, the imagination, okay, the imagination to make the very best out of very little. Coolness, where the energy to release feelings is selective. A tendency and understanding to assume capability, leading to strain, the hothead, the urge to release feelings. What this is giving us and indicating to us. So I might have the birth time off by like just a couple minutes here, just so you're aware, because when the sun enters the 41, 1, 1, 1, and 1, it's going to be at 0%. However, you're going to get the exact same reading here anyways. What do we know about the 41st gate is that it's asking us always to contract down. And when it asks us to do that, what it is doing here is it is asking us to take responsibility, to get very selective on our feelings. And it tells us right here in this language that if we are not using our imagination to imagine new experiences in our life. Now, Neville Goddard talks about this, Manly P. Hall talks about this, Rudolf Steiner, Carl Jung, Alan Watts, all of the great philosophers that I pay attention to anyways, they all talk about the imagination. If we're not using our imagination to create our own existence, then we haven't actually learned anything from the 41st gate. The 41st gate tells us to contract down, get into that imagination, really get selective on our feelings instead of really hasty on our feelings, and get down to the foundation of what it is that we want to feel every single year. This gives us the opportunity to do this. What do you want to feel this year? What do you want to feel in your co-creations and creations this year? Because human design is creative. It is a creative energy. You have a creative energy. We all have a creative energy. It starts with our imagination. Now, when we take a look at the 31st gate, the 31st gate is manifestation. Imagine 31.1 manifestation. Influence cannot exist in a vacuum. What that tells us is that we are going to do this collectively. We are going to manifest collectively. And the absorption of light that in darkness can only promise manifestation. The unnatural expression of leadership. The 31 is influence over leadership. So it is not as though the 31 is the leader. It influences leadership, okay? And what is the foundation? Well, let's manifest a whole new collective frequency when we actually use our imagination. Now, you can use your imagination for good, bad, whatever it is. There's no connotation. Human design is not moral. It is totally amoral. It gives you the mechanics. Now you get to translate those mechanics how you like how you're designed to translate those mechanics. But every single year, it tells us that if we contract down, and we're reasonable in our feelings, that we can manifest what it is that we want in the collective. Tells us that every single year. Okay? What's really interesting this year, we start off with the 51 and the 57 in the nodes. Well, we know that the 2027 upcoming shift is going to have, it's going to have shock involved in it. We know that 2027 is also going to have intuition involved in it. So this is like a prelude to the upcoming movie that we're going to see in 2027, where shock and intuition, shocking events actually get us to go deeper into our intuition. And a lot of times our intuition is unveiling a lot of shocking events. And it's all about empowerment. We have a year here that is aligned in individuality. It's aligned in individuality, and individuality is about empowerment. So what do we know about the 51? Well, the 51 is shock, but it actually helps us adapt. And the 57 is intuition. But what we know here is that it's the 57.5, and this is reevaluation. Okay. Evaluation, really discerning. This year, you will have the opportunity to really discern the voice, the voices. And I'm having conversations with people right now, and it is so fun to watch how, because the nodes have been in this configuration for a few days, is to watch how deeply correct the intuition is in people right now, and the discernment around the nasty conditioned voice and that intuitive voice. It's kind and soft and just saying, hey, this is a possibility, this might happen. Okay, so because of course 57 knows, and it has the potential. Okay, this configuration with the 5710, anytime you see a defined channel coming out of one of your awareness centers, there is the potential for healing. We have the potential to heal the fear of the future this year. Uncertainty is a given. Uncertainty is a total given. And what isn't in this year, where there's no activations? The head center and the ajna center. So of course, there's going to be a lot of misfocus, and there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. Excellent. But what this is telling us, this channel of perfected form, is that we actually have the capacity this year. The background frequency is giving us the wherewithal to heal the fear of the past. And we're probably going to do that through shocking events. Okay? There's going to be shocking events that happen that help us do that. We look at the moon. So what is a moon? The moon is a driving force. Now, this is going to like quickly move through and know that, but it is a part of the beginning snapshot. So it's a part of the energy. The 12.4 is all about the prophet. This is actually ending standstill. Okay. We're going to end standstill. What does that mean? Well, what did we do for years now? For years now, social interaction is still there's a whole host of people that never actually come back to work. They aren't going out to social interactions, still happening. But this year you have the ability to, with the background frequency, to go back into social interactions, because there's going to be an ending to the standstill. We look at Mercury in the 38. I love this, of course. 38, what is it? The fighter. And the 38.1 is all about qualification. Okay? Qualification meaning, what am I going to fight for? What actually is going to serve my purpose? What actually is worth it? What's worth it to fight for? What's worth it to fight for in the perfected form? Okay? Behavior and modesty. We have that in Venus. This is our humble millionaires. We're going to see that happening all over. Modesty, very humble human beings walking around in this perfected form, very intuitively connected in, not fearing the future. Isn't that going to be great? Don't you want to embody this energy? Don't you want to just steep in it? Just go, thank you very much for empowering me to be very modest in my movement forward. And all of this perfected form, what's going to be the trendy stuff that's going to happen? Well, you're going to see a lot of systems. We need systems. We need new systems that are reborn out of the old. The 60 always tells us that there's going to be a reborn energy out of the old. So 60.4 in Pluto is resourcefulness, limitation, it's maximized potential. So this year has the opportunity for you to maximize the potential of your systems and to help rebirth, have renewed systems on our planet. So what do we know for sure happening in 2027? We see this, large organizations, governments, systems of old, they are crumbling, they're breaking down, okay? And new ones are going to be reborn out of them, okay? These systems. And 2024 is going to be a big year for that. Now, if we look at the Mars, we have the fighter here again. This is alienation. So know that it's very important for all of us to qualify. What do we want to fight for? What's it worth it to us? Because there's going to be some alienation that happens here. And why is that alienation happening? Because Mars gives us this energy that is about maturing. And this is the endurance, even when alienated, to stay your course, to stay with what you have qualified as something you are going to fight for, okay? Then we look at Jupiter, 27.5. This is nourishment. This is the executor, so caring for other people's resources. So there will be more corruption uncovered this year. Why? Because so much of the resources of the tribe have been misdelegated. They've been misdelegated. They've been misused. And so many humans all over the world are in poverty. They are hungry. They are ill. They are impoverished because of this misappropriation of the executive funds of the tribe, the resources of others. So we're seeing this. People are pushing back against the government. They are tired of it. So you're going to see a lot of that going on. Now, something I want to share with you as well is that there is going to have, there's going to be 64 elections happening this year, all over the Earth plane. 40 of them will actually be country elections. So understand that there's going to be a lot of chaos. Okay, there's going to be a lot of chaos before there's any ordering that's going to take place. Okay, there's going to be chaos. The 60 tells us that there's stuff going on. There's innovative energy going on. The 31, again, always there every single year, but it's telling us that we're really looking at who's the influence on these leaders, and is it the correct influence? What are we manifesting here on our planet? Are we taking care of each other? What are we fighting for? What do we really need to get really serious and focus in and hone in and get really selective about? Okay, and it's going to feel very shocking. It's going to feel very shocking. All right, so now if we look at the 55, another precursor again to what's going on in the 2027 year, and this is all about spirit. Well, what do we know for sure is that we are moving into this era where the spirit, your spirit, has to be present and permeating through everything that you do, because you are the currency. So this 55.6, this is about finding spirit through materialism. Now, some spiritual people think that we shouldn't have materialism. Well, I would I would push against that. We are pure source energy that is riding around in a material body and living on this material plane. And to have material is actually why we came here, to experience material. That's why we came here. So there's a potential this year to increase your abundance. Saturn is, kicking us all in the butt, saying, let's do this. Let's everybody bring materialism to the forefront, so that you can really feel your spirit and feel abundant in your world. Then we have the 23.1. 23.1 in Uranus is all about assimilation. So the 23.1 explains the mutation. So we see a lot of empowering individual energy this year that may feel uncomfortable to many because it is so empowering, but it is also very mutative. So the 23, we're going to see this, that there's going to be a new set of values, a new set of values that come on the scene. Sorry, I just had to cough. Sorry about that. A new set of values that come onto the scene that will be spoken about. It's going to be talked about. And our 23s are going to help us assimilate that energy. As well, we're going to have that energy in the background frequency. It's going to feel very unusual. People are going to be talking about things like OpenAI, ChatGPT, all the AI information, metaverse, blockchain, all these kind of things that are coming up. You've been hearing about them, you've been seeing them. Now, what's really going to happen is this year you're going to see them really get implemented, and there's going to be a lot of explanation around it. So if this is something that you're into, I would highly recommend, as this 23.1, begin to educate, begin to give people the foundational information of what the heck all of these systems are doing, because they are going to come in and those new systems are going to take over the old systems. That's just what it is designed to do. So we have the 36.4. This is our Neptune. And what do we know about the 36? Well, the 36 has crisis involved in it. This is about espionage. This is about covert, and esoteric knowledge are necessary. So not only are you going to find out about all this covert information that is happening in our world, we know that because it's very influential. We know that the last few years has been a lot of information dumps coming out. We know that there's this deep, deep corruption going on in our world. And you're going to see that esoteric and covert knowledge is both necessary this year. So staying centered in your spirit, staying centered in your own design, really discerning, because things are going to get shocking. There's going to be this opportunity for you to get out into the world, break free from being alone, so that you can really hear and listen to what are all these new systems, how are they coming in, how are you designed to play a part. These are all things that you're going to learn and bring to the forefront. So of course, again, I want you to really recognize this. Perfected form has the opportunity this year to hold space and empower us for the potential to heal the fear of tomorrow. Okay? Because when we live in the now, when we are present right now, then all of those false fears that what happened was the spleen handed it over to the ajna center. Now the ajna is bringing it back over here to the emotional center. That's kind of the loop that we're in. That's why emotional intelligence is becoming such a buzzword. But we are here to really understand that all the fear that holds us back, there's a deep awareness in that fear. And that deep awareness is intuition. And it allows us to really begin to live in the now. Like if we just take, say the Serengeti, and if those antelope and those animals of what you would call, I guess, prey, if they lived in a pure state of fear, they would never be able to get graze and walk around and feed themselves and go to the water hole and do all those things and go to the salt lick. They wouldn't be able to do that. They live in the present moment and they trust their intuition. And when they trust their intuition, they're not fearing the next moment. They are very present. And that is what this 2024 year is asking of you. Be present. Be aware in the now, in this very, very moment, because that's where the information lies. And then you don't have to step into tomorrow and be fearful and worried about it. You can be present right here and get really selective around what you're going to fight for. You're going to get really deep into your own spirit and understand what materialism is correct for you. Something that my husband and I really learned is like, we don't actually eat that much food. We don't actually have to purchase that much food. We can, what we grow here is way more than enough than what we need. So recognizing materialism is a sense of spirit. So what you have provides you with this sense of spirit. Now, some of you might get really upset about that, but you're living in a material, physical body. That's what it is. And you came here as pure essence to ride around in this materialism. So if the correct spirit is there in the materialism, it's abundance for you. It's pure abundance for you. All right, friends. So leave a comment. Tell me what you think. What are your interpretations of this upcoming year? Again, there's going to be a lot of focus and a lot of anxiety that gets lost and gets enhanced if we're just not living in the now. So live in the now, trust yourself, love yourself, be really lean into this modesty and this humbleness. I think, like, honest to God, I really believe that there's going to be a ton of humble millionaires that come along with this 55 that recognize their own purpose and they're willing to move forward to use the old systems and step into the new systems. I really feel like this year there will be a lot of humble millionaires that come on the scene. And I know that by aligning to design, I'm not telling you that you're going to make $1 million. I'm not telling you any of that. What I'm saying is that the potential is there for anybody to attract in whatever they want when they're aligned to their body graph, because the openness gives us all the opportunity and the potential that's available to us. All right, friends, enjoy, have fun. That's going to be my word for 2024. I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to play. And anyone who is not into playing and having fun and leaning in and recognizing that there is a lightness to all of this, that there's a lightness to the world, there's a lightness to who we are, you're probably not going to stay in my ecosystem. But let's have fun, let's play, and throw any comments down, and Happy New Year to everyone.